at the other spot. Anyone can, yeah. Can you hear me, Krow?
Hey, can you hear me?
Got to reactivate my headset. Stand by. Should be coming up.
I can hear you.
Yep, headset's working.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, we got a shitty delay of like almost 3 seconds.
Oh, really? Can you hear me now?
So.
Okay, we'll just have to use.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Just have to use hand signals.
But yeah, that might be a good idea. Hold up the hand. It seems rude, but it might be the only thing to do.
Okay.
Oh, just a second here. I gotta get my wires in. And then I want to do this.
Yeah, just before we went live, I updated to the latest version.
I learned from like last
Facebook, and yeah, I haven't updated to iOS 15 yet, but I probably will before long. I don't know. Anyway, so I hope the delay doesn't have something to do with the new version of the Facebook, but whatever. Anyway, we've been watching
the new version is just it's just basically a sorry, the new version is basically a better way for them to watch you.
Well, they're going to see some pretty interesting stuff pretty soon if that's what's going on then. I gotta laugh at these
oh yeah
people who spy on other people, because I've overheard conversations I wasn't supposed to hear, and it was mostly embarrassing, or it just made me feel weird. But yeah, no, I feel for these eavesdroppers. They're gonna see and hear some strange things.
Yeah, I find it. I can't even. I can't even figure out why anybody would bother. It just seems like so strange to me. It's like people that want power, and I think to myself, why do you want that responsibility?
Yeah. Oh, should we do the prayer? I don't remember who did the prayer last time. But so do you want to go ahead and, or I'll do my dedication
I did
prayer. You did it last time?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Okay.
So you're up, buddy.
Okay. Heavenly Father, we rededicate ourselves to your service. Eternal Son, we rededicate ourselves to your service. Infinite Spirit, we rededicate ourselves to your service. Amen. Heavenly Father, I pray for the residents, council, and reeve of this rural municipality. I pray for the residents, councils, and mayors of the villages in this rural municipality. I pray for the residents, council, and mayor of the capital city of this province. I pray for the MLAs and the premier of this province. I pray for the people of this province. May we discern the truth, and may we find the courage to stand up for what is right. I pray for the MPs and the Prime Minister of Canada. May we, I pray for the people of Canada. May we discern the truth, and may we find the courage to stand up for what is right. I pray for the Congress, the President, and the Supreme Court of the United States. I pray for the people of the United States. May we discern the truth, and may we find the courage to stand up for what is right. I pray for all the leaders of this world. And finally, Father, I pray for all the people of this world. May we discern the truth, and may we find the courage to stand up for what is right. Amen.
Amen. I want to say is like, I don't close my eyes in prayer, and in church, people used to get upset with me, but my attitude is, I close my eyes to sleep, not to pray.
Okay, good. Good point.
I find that I can focus more on a prayer when I'm just focused in on a point. And it doesn't even matter what that point is. It could just be like something in the grain of wood in the chair in front of me, in the case of a church, the pew in front of me. This case, it was just a random point on the computer screen. And then it's just like, then the rest of my mind focuses in through my ears to listen and to hear and to feel. When I close my eyes, I'm just basically telling my brain that it's like, oh, we're shutting down. Let's go to sleep now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you never see me close my eyes for prayer.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They say let us bow our heads in prayer. Let us close our eyes in prayer.
Yeah, and here's the kick. Russians, they don't bow their head in prayer. They lift their face up. Oh, and they don't stand, or they don't sit during the sermon. They stand. Russians do a lot of standing in church. I don't even think Russian church have chairs. They stand through the whole service, and they sing through the whole service. It's a Russian thing. If you want to sit, you bring your own chair. So, what do we got going on in the world today? Lots going on. Michael's plan is moving forward at the only pace that it can move forward. And the pace is our pace. I was talking with somebody a couple of nights ago, and we were talking about the plan. And I was saying, I was like, the plan is only going to go forward as quick as people can accept the truth and digest it. I said, if you haven't noticed, I was like, and it's starting to happen because over the last year or so, people have been on the bandwagon of going back to normal. Let's go back to normal. I want to go back to the way things were. And it's like, people, I understood right from the beginning when Michael started this plan that there is no going backwards. It's all about going forward in time. Michael does not go backwards. And so I'm thinking, so then I had a revelation while going through this conversation, and I was like, whoa. I was like, yeah. I was like, until people decide that there is no going back, there'll be no going forward. Or as long as people want to keep going backwards, there'll be no going forward. But recently, people have been starting to say something has to change. Something has to change. That is the first step to beginning their forward momentum in time. And to me, that is a very positive sign for the plan, because people are slowly beginning to accept that there is no going back. We got to figure out what we're going to do moving forward, because the past is wrecked. There is no going back to it. It's done. I mean, we cannot turn society around. Uh, People have got a taste of what it is to work at home, and they like it. And they are, in some cases, people are actually 10 times more productive working at home. And the companies see this, and they see the dollars. They see that they don't have to rent office space downtown anymore. They don't have to validate parking. They don't have to, they don't have to worry about employees calling in sick. They don't have to worry about a fucking thing. The only thing that they got to worry about is making sure that you've got a proper internet connection, and that's really up to the person that is doing the job. And and with Skylink coming online, I said it's like people are going to start bailing out of the cities, like especially like people that earn a living online. They're going to start bailing out of the cities, and they're going to start heading for the small towns. And Saskatchewan is full of these little towns that, and I guess it's pretty much that way out here in the West, is there's all these little towns, and they are basically, they've already got the infrastructure in place to start, like grocery stores, coffee shops, library, all of that infrastructure is in place. The buildings are there. They got boards on the windows, but I look at these buildings and I'm looking at the foundations, and the foundations are still solid. And I'm like, you could still use that building. And and people are going to start figuring out that they're going to pick these houses up for like a song outside of Regina. I mean, you could buy a house out in a town called Kapar for like less than $80,000, a 3-bedroom, 2-story house with a just a crawl space foundation. But I mean, I was looking at some places in this little town, and I was like, holy fuck, these are some nice houses. And it was a nice little town, had a school, had a grocery store, but it's dying. The town is dying. And if people that earn a living on the internet decide that they want to start moving to these towns, these little towns are going to be revived very, very quickly. And especially like families that are going to be looking at like these small towns with these small schools where they can actually know like the teachers' names, and they all like know each other, small town mentality. Then you're going to see a lot of young families pulling out of the cities, and the city's going to be empty. I mean, right now, just in the city of Regina, there's probably close to 20,000 people that are earning a living online. And that number keeps growing. Regina is slow. There's bigger numbers in other cities, but Regina is just slow because in Saskatchewan, nobody really took the whole COVID thing very seriously. And the premier, he wasn't in a position to be able to do a whole lot. And plus, he grew up here in Saskatchewan, and he would know intuitively just how far the Saskatchewan people were willing to go with this bullshit. And considering that, I mean, Saskatchewan is an agricultural province. It's like once you get outside the major cities, you start getting kilometers between neighbors. If, in some cases, tens 20s, kilometers. Neighbors are away from each other. I mean, I see it. I drive around this province all the time. I mean, I hit a farmhouse. It's the only thing there. And I'd be going up the grid road and I make a left turn, and that's when I might hit the next farmhouse. And and these farmhouses are like 10-minute drive between each other, going at about 60 or 70K, because that's really all you can do on the grid roads. If you go any faster, you're just fucking insane. so so you can't do anything with a province like this. And Mo figured that out real quick. And every time he tried, it just blew up in his face. And now it's really starting to blow up. Uptown Regina today, huge protest. There's quite a few people there, a lot of support, a lot of cars honking their support, a lot of cars. Beep, beep. I was there, fire truck goes by, wah, wah. It was just like, wow. It's like even the firemen don't even want to bother with this shit. And so it's turning into a thing, and nobody wants to do it. Even the restaurants here, very few restaurants want to be bothered with like the vaccine passport. I got one restaurant owner sent a bill to the province. He calculated how much it was costing him for his employees to ask for this ID, and he calculated as it taking up about a minute of their time, in some cases a minute and a half, so that's 90 seconds. So he added it all up through the day, and then through the week, and then through the month. He sent a bill to the government for $2,200. That is how much time he added up. That's messed up. That's that's a paycheck when you think about it. And what is he getting out of it? In some cases in Ontario, one restaurant owner told the government, it's like, it's not my responsibility to check. You want to check? You get a guy and you have him stand outside my restaurant and you let him check. As for me and my staff, we're not wasting our time. Province of Ontario couldn't do anything about it, because when they tried to take him to court, the judge agreed it wasn't the restaurant owner's responsibility to check these IDs. Not even a little bit, because it's a provincial mandate. It's up to the province to mandate it, even though it's totally illegal. But I digress. I'm sure we all know that by now. But yeah, nobody's paying attention. As for me, in my business, I charge $200 for a medical record check. That's how I'm labeling it. You want to see my Vax ID? It's going to be $200 on your bill. Make a choice right now. What do you want to do? $200, or you want to shut the fuck up and take me to the broken piece of equipment so I can fix it? I have not been refused entry yet. Over the phone, yes, but not once I got to the building. And hell, I left one place and just started driving. I got a call from the facility manager. I didn't even get 5 minutes up the road. Facility manager calls me. No, please come back. We need this piece of equipment fixed. And they knew that they were not getting anybody else out there. For me, coming from Regina, it was a 3-hour drive. That's what it was for me. And I was just like, whoa. So they knew that, nobody else is driving out that far, and not for the price that I was willing to drive out there for. Anybody else driving out there would have been over almost $1,000. As it was, my drive out there, 2 hours labor on site, it was a $650 call. And that was just to diagnose the problem. Still got to buy parts and go back. But I probably won't be going back, because I don't work for that company anymore. As of December 1st, I stopped working for my boss because he was starting to be a bitch about getting tested. He couldn't force me to get vaccinated, so he was trying to force me to get tested. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll get tested. I said, it's $100, you know. And he was like, yeah. I was like, well, who's paying it? Well, you are. I was like, no, I'm not. I said, I only pay for shit that I want. I said, this is something that you want. So you can pay for it. And he was like, nope. And then I was like, yeah, well, if you don't get tested, then you can't work here. Well, my response to that was, I'm not working here anymore then. And so as of December 1st, I started my own business,
Good.
which, by the way, started a huge shit
Congratulations.
show with.
Yeah, so I just wanted to
Oh,
congratulate you
thank you.
on
Oh,
starting
and
your own
by
business.
you and over 200 clients. I sent out a mass text December 1st because my contract with my employer was completed. So I had no more obligation to him. I sent out a mass text to the clients who had given me their phone numbers. And yeah, they were like, congratulations. My God, you should have done this a long time ago. We'll be praying for you. It's just like so much love, so much love. And then some people even called me up and like personally congratulated me. I walked into some restaurants. The one chef, he came right over, gave me a big hug. And he was like, oh, he's like, I'm so happy that you left that company. He said that company was toxic. I was like, I know. I said, now it's about to get worse because the only ray of sunshine that was in that building was me. And now that ray of sunshine has left. So, anyways, so what do you think happened when my old boss found out that I had sent out 200, over 200 texts to the clients in Regina?
Well, probably hit the roof.
Needless to say.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he hit the roof all right. Called me up, threatened me. He's going to destroy me. I'm going to destroy you. You can't steal my clients. And I'm just like, I didn't know people were property. I thought we outlawed that practice a couple of 100 years ago. You're an asshole. Click. I'm like, oh, okay. And quite frankly, I stopped listening to him when he hung up on me the first time about maybe 6 or 7 months ago. That's my attitude. When somebody hangs up the phone on me, I just figure, oh, okay, you're done talking, then I'm done listening. Fuck you. I'm done. So that's been the relationship for the last 6 months. He would make word noises and I would just be like, uh-huh. So it was heading downhill fast. So anyways, I collected all my tools from their building, blah, 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 the normal shit that you do when your employment ends. Although he did promise that he was going to work with me, but I guess he didn't like that I was only willing to work with him on my terms and not on his terms. So, yeah. So, anyways, the fun part actually didn't start until Thursday night. After I got all of my tools and stuff out of his building, he got his lawyer to send me a no trespass letter. Standard bullshit, not a big deal. Who cares? And of course, the standard shit that comes with any letter like that: return company property, delete company data, blah, blah, blah. Standard end of employment letter that you get, right? Not a big deal. And I was like, yeah, okay, I already did all of that. My fucking, my integrity is impeccable. I'm not fucking doing anything that's going to fuck it and come back and haunt me. Fuck that shit. I made sure that the ledger was balanced when I left. Let's put it that way. So, anyways, uh, so they get this letter, and I read it, all the standard stuff. But then there was this one section at the very last sentence of this little paragraph. And this was the one sentence that I was like, who the fuck do you people think you are? And I just shook my head at the stupidity and the asinine attitude. This last line said, you are to cease from contacting Denson vendors and Denson clients. And I'm like, what right do you have to fucking tell me who I can and cannot do business with and who I can and cannot talk to? I was like, that's bullshit. So anyways, I wrote a letter back to the lawyer. Of course, I ain't letting that shit slide. And basically the outline of the letter is pretty simple. No trespassing, understood, fine, don't give a shit. Denson property was returned as witnessed by 2 Denson employees in Yorkton and in Regina. Fuck you. As for Denson data, I didn't have no data on my computers, and I had signed out of all Denson applications the morning of December 1st. And I burned the passwords. Done and done. I know what to do. I've left companies before. I'm no stranger to ending employment. And so I did everything that I'm supposed to do, just legally, to protect myself, because I don't need the headache. Say, you don't want headaches, you do the right thing the first time, you don't get headaches later. That's how life works. So, yeah, I told you there was going to be a lesson in there somewhere, eh? So anyways, after I got all of that legalese out of the way, my next paragraph was, okay, I understood all of that stuff, but there's this one part I don't understand. I said, could you please define company vendors and company clients? And also, while you're at it, I'd like you to cite the section of law that says that I cannot contact company vendors and company clients. I would like you to cite the law that gives you that authority. And then my next paragraph, I politely pointed out that I have been a gas fitter for a long time now. And I was servicing the greater Regina area before I started employment with this company. And I am going to continue to do business with clients in the greater Regina area long after this experience. And if you got a problem with that, tread carefully, because the last part I put in was just like, I will not be bullied, intimidated, or coerced. End of story. It was a beautiful letter. It really was. It was like there were subtle insults peppered through the whole thing. It was quite brilliant. It was a piece of heart, and I'm proud of it, actually. Because I didn't fire back a response right away. As you get older, you get a little bit wiser too, and so I slept on it. I didn't sleep very good, but I slept on it, and I woke up at 4 a.m. like I always do, and by 5:30, I had the letter drafted in my head. I put it in the email, and off it went. And I was like, there, fuck you and fuck your bullshit letter. And yeah, I'm actually hoping that they try to sue me. Part of me is kind of hoping because it's like, man, it'd be like the easiest fight I ever had. I mean, I wouldn't have to hire a lawyer for this. I mean, it took me like an hour of research on the internet to figure out that, oh, by the way, there is no law that says that I can't do business with their vendors and their clients. There is no law prohibiting me from doing that, by the way. If anything, there's a law that is the exact opposite. Because I'm a licensed tradesman, the trade law says that no employer is allowed to interfere with a tradesman ability to make a living, to earn a living. There is actually something in there. And if they do try, well, they can, but then they'd have the Brotherhood Union after them. And, well, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, tradesmen tend to stick together. So I was like, yeah, so there's actually nothing in the books. And yeah, nothing in Canada. There is something in the United States, though. United States in like for some types of businesses, there is a moratorium. Like when you end your employment with an employer, then there is a moratorium of like 2 or 3 months where you're not allowed to contact the same clients that your employer is currently doing business with. But after like 2 or 3 months, it's open season. So I guess it's, I don't know. I guess it gives the employer, your former employer, a chance to prove that they didn't need you or what. I don't know what the deal is, but it turns out also, see, there's a lot you can read in an hour when you know how to do a Google search. And what I found out also is that the judges have thrown these cases, over 90% of them get thrown out. The judges won't even hear them because the judges knows it's bullshit. So I was like, oh, okay. And the circumstances where the judges have looked at the case usually resulted in favoring the former employee. So it's like, yeah, okay, good enough. So I was pretty confident in firing that letter back. So if you want to go to war with somebody, always do your research first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. And then I slept on that research, thought about it, woke up, and then dealt with the issue. And quite frankly, it seems somehow I felt like that would be kind of the same advice that Jesus had given the disciples.
Yeah.
Don't worry about shit. Think about it and make it.
Yeah. So I'm going to interject here. That it sounds like a letter that Michael would have written, subtle insults and all. and then on a more personal note, the sleeping on it, and yeah. So I recently had a situation. It was somebody was. What did they do? They hijacked my shout box to scream at somebody else because that person had blocked me on a platform that I'm on, and so I wrote two things. One was just a straight question asking about, the person implied that such and such an issue was being discussed in this journal entry that a person had made, and I read the journal entry carefully, and then I read the person's comments carefully, and I said, okay, where exactly does the journal mention this issue, which they were saying, oh, this is about this, whatever, and then that one I wrote and then sent within a couple of hours, and then I wrote a separate one about another post because the person replied to somebody's comment, and then they replied directed to the journal. So I wrote some stuff about the reply to the journal, and then I wrote something about, okay, so, and also since you've used my shout box to scream at somebody else, I am definitely going to address that here. And I asked, okay, well, you know, there's a couple of things that I think you and I will agree on, and made some logical steps after that, and said, okay, so perhaps instead of dwelling on this particular thing, perhaps you could do that. And it's been over 24. I thought that if I write anything negative in response, I'll give myself like a 24-hour moratorium after I discover the comment before responding with anything negative, because I've found that the longer time goes between that, the less negative I tend to put back, and the more, you know, legitimate questions and yeah. So and also sometimes it helps to de-escalate the situation. I've had certain situations where, you know, it was just kind of tempers ran high, and you know, maybe we said some things that we didn't actually mean, and so on. Yeah, that's basically. I'm giving myself kind of, yeah, making myself wait 24 hours before replying with any kind of negative reply. I can, if it's a positive or a neutral comment or reply, then sooner is fine. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, it's always good to think things through. And the thing is that I think people have forgotten this, but you know, we have to take responsibility for the shit that comes out of our own minds.
Yes.
I mean, we used to say you're responsible for what you say, but we've come too far in technology that, you know, that just doesn't cover it. Because I mean, we're saying things through text, we're saying things through video, we're saying things directly in front of people. It's like, so it's like, and people don't seem to understand that what you say in text is not any different than what comes out of your mouth. So that's why I say it's like, you're responsible for what comes out of your mind. And even Jesus even said that. It's like, if you think it, then, you know, you've already sinned. And well, I mean, we've bastardized the word of sin so much that we don't even know what it means. But the thing is, a sin essentially means denial of truth. That's essentially what it is. It's ongoing denial of truth. And so when Jesus said that when you think it and you know it's wrong, it's a sin, because you are lying to yourself that it's not. So that's why I say. That's why I said if you commit, if he used the word adultery, he said if you committed it in your mind, then you know, then it is a sin. Well, that's because in your mind you can deny it. But I like the Buddha also expand on that, you know, and I'm sure Jesus did in his private teachings. But to expand on that, if the Buddha said is that shit's going to come into your mind. Just accept that it's there, meaning you don't sin by denying it. You accept it, that it's there, and then you just let it go. And you just decide, well, that's not my character. And when you decide that that's not your character, then your thoughts do automatically become pure, because thoughts only stick around when you give them, when you feed them, when you give them, when you give them time. If you refuse to give a thought any time, then it ceases to exist. It goes off and starves. It's done. And so that's what Buddha was saying. It's just like, if you think it, fine. Even if it's evil, it's fine. You just accept that that's a part of your personality that you need to correct, or your character, and you just let it go. And you just keep moving on and keep trying to be the better person. And then eventually, after trying so hard, like everything else in human experience, things become habitual. And then once it becomes a habit, you don't even give it a second thought. And that's when you start to have good character, because you're not waiting for somebody to watch you do something good. You're just going to go ahead and do it because now it's a habit to just do the right thing. It's like saying please and thank you. I do it all the time because it's a habit. It's a habit that I got when I was younger. My father was like, he was a big proponent of that. He was like, be fucking polite, please and thank you. It ain't that hard. And so, you just got in the habit of just doing it. And now, even in my adult life, even when I have people working for me, my employees, I have said please and thank you to. And believe it or not, that is what kept them around. I I had no idea. I really didn't. But I've been told by my former employees that, I worked the longest for you because you always said please and I was always fucking polite. They knew how much I was paying them. I knew how much I was paying them, and I was paying them pretty damn good. I didn't have to say please and thank you. Apparently, I didn't know that. When you pay people, you don't have to say that. but but apparently that's what kept these guys around. And to me, it just seemed like such a small and minor thing, but for them, it was huge. So, yeah. And they knew I meant it every time I said it because I never made a big deal out of it. I was like, pass me the hammer, please. Thanks. And it was just part of my natural thing. It wasn't like, can you pass that to me, please? It was always just, please, thank you. Yeah, carry on. I don't know. So I guess it is the little things. So, where was I heading with that? Shit. I lost that thought. But yeah, sin. Yeah, sin, denial. Character, building character and habits. Yeah. And so, yeah, and that's also one reason why I'm glad I'm away from that company is because I this also ties back into spiritual stuff. Always does. That's life. Through this whole process of leaving this company, the owner of this company, I just believe he had a shallow character. And I'm being polite when I call it shallow because I personally think it was zero. But I have to believe that there was some foundation there for the father to have strung this out for so long. He didn't just string it out for my benefit. He strung it out for his benefit, for the benefit of those people in that building, the benefit of having my light in that facility for that period of time, and me constantly trying to minister to them in a sort of, I guess, materialistic way. Like when I minister, I like to tie like the spiritual to the material because I think that really helps people to grasp how things are and to really help them try to seek truth. So I think that my light, I had tried as far as I could without pissing people off and having them get themselves upset. There were times when I kind of pushed it a little bit too far, and then they'd just be like, I'm not into that spiritual shit. Oh, okay, whatever. And so, I mean, I tried, and I think that is what the father was doing as part of, I mean, the father just doesn't just concentrate on one thing. It's always multiple reasons, just that we can't see all of them. And so I think that the father and me have tried to give them a chance to grow some character, to create some character. And the funny part is, some of my clients, it was amazing that they even said this. I couldn't even believe that they said this. They straight to my face, they said, you have been so patient with that man. I have never seen anything like it in my life. That I have never seen anybody give someone so many chances to do the right thing. And he never did. And because a wiser man with character would have congratulated me and seen the value of working with me. But as it is, uh, because he wanted to destroy me, it's like, okay, no problem. I was only going to do service. Guess what I'm doing now? I'm doing my own parts. So I'm going to do both parts and service. And guess what? I made just from December 1st to now, 3 days. Actually, well, I did do some stuff today. In 4 days, I have already made north of $2,000. And I've got an order of almost $1,000 in parts that I've got to submit first thing tomorrow morning.
Good.
Yeah, that quick. Yeah. Just people calling me up, and they're just like, yes, come do this for me, do that for me. I mean, they were so happy just to be able to like pay me directly, because they were just like, we always, they some of them told me, it's like, we always just wanted to pay you directly. I was like, nice. Mm. And one client, she was super generous. It's like she like she went over and above to help me out with uh with billing, to like to get me started. She basically overpaid me, and that's the way she wanted it. And she knew what she was doing, and she's just like, nope, this is to help you get your start. She was actually my first call, and she's like, that was the first invoice that I submitted, was to her, and she wrote me the check that day. And I was just like, wow. And it was over $1,000. And she was just like, and just be like, thank you very much. And I haven't even finished the job, by the way. That's why I said she went over and above. I haven't even finished the job. She's just going to trust me to come back and finish it next week, because shit got busy. I didn't even expect it. Shit got fucking busy really fast. I mean, my days were full. I mean, I'm trying to set up my shop. I'm like doing all of this stuff, trying to get everything in order, and I'm out doing calls. So I'm pretty happy. I'm a pretty happy person right now, and yeah, happy to be free. But yeah, this is uh, this is how things are going. And now, where I think things are going in the future for this company, I don't think they're going to be around very much longer, because I think that I know people have gotten frustrated with this company. A lot of the East Indian people, they don't even like going into that building, because they say the energy is bad. They say it's wrong. They don't like the energy. And they have told me, more than one has told me, the only reason they even went there is because I was there. And that was really the only anchor of light that they could grab onto in order to be in that building for any length of time. So yeah, and I think that I was probably the only one who was not a vampire in that building. So it's hard to tell. So should we move on to something else?
Yeah. You want to do the news item I mentioned? Was it Twitter? Yeah, Twitter
Yes, we do.
co-founder to
Okay,
step
we did
down.
start out with something.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Uh, so as of this week, Jack Dorsey is going to be stepping down as CEO of Twitter. And the new guy that's stepping up, yeah, this guy is a real piece of work. He has already changed the terms of service for Twitter. And the terms of service are so bad now that I can't even stand to be on that platform. I basically I closed down my Twitter account. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I can't deal with this anymore. I was like, these people have gone right off their rocker. It's like, so I'm just like, nope. So, I mean, you can't even upload a picture anymore without having a consent form attached to it. It's like, okay, you just ruined the platform. Platform's done. So I'm over on Getter with Cat Turd. Cat Turd moved over to Getter. I was already on Getter, and as soon as Cat Turd moved over, I'm like, yep, I'm here full time now. Screw Twitter. Cat Turd is like anybody who's on Twitter probably knows who Cat Turd is. I mean, the guy is hilarious. There's some of the, he's a political commentator that just cracks me up every time. And yeah, so he's moved over to Getter. I'm staying on Getter. Screw this shit. And I imagine that a lot of other people are going to move over too, and just not. And Getter is getting better. I know when it first started, it was horrible. There's no interaction with your audience, and but they've improved that. There's now interaction. You can see people can you can see who's liked your videos. You can people can comment. You can read the comments. You can comment back. So it's getting very much like Twitter is without the shitty algorithms. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, great. The only thing that I do wish Getter would do is limit people to, I don't know, at least 300 characters. I really wish they would, or less, because I really don't like reading articles. This is why I liked Twitter, is because people had to figure out what they're going to say in under 240 characters. And it meant that you had to get clever with your wording and be succinct. And Getter allows you to have, I think, over 700 characters. And I'm like, that's too much. That's way too much. And the other thing I don't like about Getter is that when you scroll through Twitter, like you can read the whole tweet without having to click on it. I like that. So that when I scroll through Twitter, I can read the tweet and I don't have to click on it. With Getter, I got to click on it. And it's like, I don't want to, like, I know I guess it's just me being lazy, but I like just being able to, and I read fast too. So, I mean, I read, oh yeah, okay, boom, boom, boom. I mean, I'm reading like, I read really fast. And so having to open up the tweet or the Getter post in order to read the whole paragraph, it's just like, I would have had in the time it took for it to open up, I would have already had it read and I would be going to the next article. I mean, I don't like to brag, but I like to brag about it because I worked on that. I mean, I read books and taught myself to speed read and to read fast. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that accomplishment that I can go through a document just, you know, really quick. Because when you speed read, when you learn how to speed read, what you learn is that there's just a lot of fluff in material, and when you speed read, you recognize the fluff and you only read the core. And the core of any paragraph is generally to the middle end of the paragraph. So you're just like, most of the time, you're just skimming the first 3 lines of a paragraph and you're only actually reading like maybe the bottom 3 or 4. And yeah. And so, yeah. And you just go through it quick. So you're really, speed reading is about only reading half the page because you just learn to recognize the fluff. It's like, okay, this is just word salad. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Yeah, and carry on. And then you get the core idea of what somebody is trying to say. And, you slow down when you've got to struggle with understanding with what you're reading. So you slow down a little bit and then you speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. It's not about going through the document quickly. It's just about just skipping through the parts that are meaningless. And you'd be surprised at how much of a document can be just full of meaningless words. So, yeah. So we got Jack Dorsey stepping down. We got the Ghislane Maxwell trial going on, and it's fun because she's claiming to be the victim of Jeffrey Epstein. It's so disgusting. I don't know how these people fucking sleep at night. Then we got the Jesse Smollet trial. So that's another one that's happening. And we had other CEOs step down. Our health minister in Saskatchewan stepped down, has been replaced already. So that has happened. And but I want to circle back to Jack Dorsey a little bit. It's interesting that Jack Dorsey is jumping ship right about now. Just as like Trump's acquisition companies coming online, Trump media, all of this stuff is coming up. Now, I had a thought about Jack Dorsey a while ago. Like a lot of people have said that, he's a bad guy. He's done this, he's done that. I have no doubt he has done these things. No doubt whatsoever. Young man, lots of money. I mean, holy shit. I know that when I worked in the oil patch, I came back to Calgary with 10 grand. It was drugs and hookers. I mean, shit. What do you expect? I was in my late 20s. Of course it was drugs and hookers. And shit, it's like, I had the money and I didn't care. And, I had made so much money that it was no problem. All my bills back home were paid. Hell, when I left Calgary in 06, my bills were paid like 6 months ahead. Like Rogers was holding like $2,000 or $3,000 in credit for me. The hydro company was holding $2,000 or $3,000 in credit for me. Taxes were paid 2 years ahead already, and for my land. I mean, it was all paid for. I mean, my plan was to just fuck around for a year, or at least half a year, and not think about anything because it's all paid ahead. Don't even have to worry about it. And that actually lasted till spring. I came back from Alberta early winter, and I sat around all winter. I've read a lot, read a lot, hung out a lot, did a lot of stuff. Spring came, I was fucking bored. Now my shit was still paid for. I still didn't have to worry about the bills. It was all still paid for. In fact, I don't think I came out of the green until like September that year. Like, so September of 07. But in April, I was already bored. And then a buddy of mine calls me up and he was like, "You want to come hang for drywall with me? I'll pay you." I was like, "Yeah, I'm just bored enough that, yeah, I will do that." So I went and hung drywall with this guy for a couple of months. And here's the fucked up part. I liked it. How weird is that? I liked it so much. Well, I did eventually have my own drywall company, series of events. I think I told the story before. Buddy fucked us over on some money, so we took tools to balance the ledger, and then he paid us, and we went and bought our own tools and started our own construction company, me and my nephew Gary. And we did that shit for 7 years. 7 years. We had a really good reputation. Everybody loved us. We were being hired by being subcontracted by other contractors to come in and do work because we were reliable. They didn't have to worry about us. They just had to call us up, go to this address, let me know when it's done. You have it done in 5 days. Boom, give us another one. And yeah, we did that for like 7 years straight. I all I can say is I was ripped. Like, I mean, six pack, fucking solid fucking shoulders, because you're just lifting 50 pounds over your head all the time, and you're just holding it there. And you just got used to it, and it was fun. It really, really, it really was dirty, but it was fun. I think it was mostly because nobody was bugging us, and we just pretty much did whatever the fuck we wanted as long as the job got done. I think that's probably what it mostly was. And yeah, that was so yeah, not until September. So it didn't take me long to get bored. And uh, oh yeah, back to Jack Dorsey. So Jack Dorsey, the thing was about him is that it's how he came up through that makes me wonder whether or not he's like, I don't think he was like a completely bad guy. I think he was a guy that made really shitty decisions because he came into money so young, so fast. And I think part of me, like my little spidey senses tells me that he's been on board with the plan all along, but he couldn't let anybody know that he's on board with the plan because there's probably extortion evidence against him. And God only knows what it is, but I imagine it involves young girls. It always does. And I think that he has been. I've seen him do some things, and I'm just wondering, it's like, why did you do that? That's not what the cabal wants you to do. But now this new guy comes into Twitter, and he's going to do exactly what the cabal wants him to do. He's already started, and he's just their type of guy. And so I think that Jack Dorsey stepping down is just because it's time for him to get out of the way and time for the enemy to really start destroying themselves. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. There's a reason why Trump has an acquisition company attached to his media company. He's going to buy Twitter, and he's going to fucking gut it because he doesn't care about Twitter. Because you know what Twitter has? You buy like the company Twitter, it's the servers. Trump wants the servers. I would. Who cares about Twitter as a platform? I'd burn that to the ground. It's toxic. There's nothing good about it. It's just completely destroyed. But the servers, that's where the money is. And the thing is that the company as a whole, as the stock drops, when stock drops, it doesn't take into account what the company owns. It's just stock that's dropping like a rock. And the company can use its assets to try to bolster its stock, but that's just like a really bad idea because now you're risking your company. But these dumb fucks, I think, in Twitter are going to do that. They're going to start like doing something with the stocks to try to save it once it starts plummeting here in about maybe a month. I give it a month, and Twitter stock is going to hit the toilet, and Trump is going to buy it when it's rock bottom, which will probably be in and around January. And then Facebook, with all of its policies, same deal. Again, I'd burn Facebook to the ground, but I would want those servers. Those servers are everything. The whole network is everything. Same thing with CNN. I'd buy CNN and I'd burn it to the ground because it's not the news station that I want. It's the infrastructure that comes with that news station. That's what I want. At least in Trump's position, that'd be what I'd be looking at. So these companies, you just wait and see. I predicted it a few weeks ago, and I'm thinking that, damn, I might have been bang on, because the way things are looking, that's where it's heading. So
Okay.
Michael's plan is moving forward exactly the way that it's supposed to. And everybody's waking up to it.
Just wanted to let you know we're at 8:15. Time check, 8:15. So I think we were going to try to hold this to 90
Yeah, we're going to...
minutes. So we got about 15 minutes.
Let's see. That which mercy cannot rehabilitate, justice will eventually annihilate. That goes along with what you were asking earlier on Telegram. That is what's going on. Mercy has run its course. We are now in judgment. We have gone through judgment as a planet, but now it's judgment as a society, as a species. And there's one more hurdle, and this is going to be the most horrific part of what's going to happen here with the plan. And it's unfortunate that it has to go this way, but Michael is the master of the morphogenic fields, and he knows what has to happen in order for us to go forward so that stupid shit doesn't happen twice. And it has everything to do with the kids. They're now got vaccines for the kids, and the schools are forcing it on the kids. The next question that has to be answered is, how many grieving parents will there have to be before enough of them stand up and say no? Will 1 million children have to die? Will 6 million children have to die? When I went in, like when I was having this conversation, I felt like I went into a prophetic utterance. And what I said was, if 1 million children die and 500,000 parents stand up screaming in anger, then we are a species worth saving. If 6 million children die and only 500,000 parents stand up, it becomes a question mark of whether we are or not we are a species worth saving. Because a species that puts no value in its youth, in its future, is not worth. It has no currency in Michael's universe. And that which does not have currency in Michael's universe just withers and dies and ceases to exist. Because that species would be spiritually bankrupt completely. And then I said, what would happen next is the Adjon spirits, they will go. They're gone. And I said, and it will be less than 100 years. This planet will turn to dust. The thought adjusters will remain on the planet until the last human dies, or at least the last human with spiritual potential dies. And then once that happens, the thought adjusters will leave this planet, and then this planet will become Mars. It will be dead, and there'll be nothing left. And We will be the lesson to the universe of what happens when you deny truth, when you continually sin against truth, continually commit evil, continually commit inequity. This will be the example for all of Michael's universe to look at and be like, wow. It's like, so those are the two paths. But it does not look like Michael's going to lose his human birth home. Doesn't look like it. I think that we're going to come through. It's not going to be easy. There's still more bullshit that we got to wade through, but I feel as though we have passed the 50-yard line. I feel like we've passed that. I think that we're past that, and we're moving forward, and here's the kick. If we have moved past the 50-yard line, which I think we have, we're going to start seeing things speed up. Things are going to get faster and faster. Once people begin to accept the truth and the realization that there is no going back and we have to make a plan for moving forward, that is when you'll see shit start happening really, really fast. And there will be a lot of people that will not be able to keep up. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to die. A lot of people are going to die. But these are the people that are holding up they're just holding up society. They're not helping us move forward. They just want to stagnate. So we don't need those people. I don't weep for those people. I did, but not anymore. Because, okay, you get the first shot. Okay, fool me once. Shame on you. And you're supposed to be able to take off your mask. You're supposed to be able to travel. You're supposed to be able to be free. But then they say, no, you've got to get the second shot in order to be free. Now we're at fool me twice. Shame on me. And now they want you to take a third. And now there's talk of a fourth. Yeah, a lot of people are like, fuck that shit. The deal was, Jordan Peterson said it out loud, and I loved it because he is absolutely right. He said, the deal was, he says, I take your shot, you would leave me the fuck alone. Just leave me the fuck alone. But no, you lied to me. Now you're telling me I got to take a second shot. Well, you know what I say to your second shot, Jordan Peterson said? Fuck you. I ain't doing it. And he's not the only one. People are starting to think like that. And he also said something else in that same interview, which I agree, which makes perfect sense. I was like, man, yeah, that's true. He said it's the most neurotic member of the herd that's going to set the herd stampeding towards the cliff. So it's like, so he said, it's the most neurotic among us that tend to want to destroy society. And it's just like, yeah, okay. And it's the most neurotic people in our society that are going for their third and fourth fucking medical procedure. And it's like, why? It's like, I don't know. It's like, how do you not see it? It's like, I mean, when I used to buy weed on the black market, If I went to a new dealer and he gave me shitty weed, I wasn't going back to that dealer to buy more weed from him. Fuck that. Because, I mean, I know there's a no money back guarantee. I can't exactly take this shitty bag of weed, track down that dealer that was on the side of the street and be like, yeah, buddy, you sold me a shitty bag of weed. Give me my money back. Well, I'd probably get a baseball bat up the side of the head for that stupid shit. So, I mean, you get what you get. But I mean, that's basically the scenario that you're playing with the vaccine. Is you're just basically, you went to a black market dealer, you got a bad drug, and you're stuck with it. It's like, so you're going back to the same dealer? He gave you bad acid last weekend. You think he's got good acid this weekend? I'm sorry, but no, he does not. He's laughing at you for being stupid enough to hand him another $100. That's what's happening. And that's what's happening right now. The pharmaceutical industry is laughing at us hilariously. You know why they're laughing at us? Because just for the booster shots alone, Canada gave them $600 million. Yeah, I'd be laughing too. I mean, you'd have to be an absolute idiot to keep going to the same fucking dealer and getting the same shitty drugs. And then now that dealer's like, oh, look at this. I got a new pill. It's not the blue one. It's different. This one is, is, is mauve. This is mauve. And you'll get really high on this. I didn't get high last weekend. I'm not going to get high this weekend with your mauve pill because you're just a shitty fucking drug dealer. Yeah. I have zero qualms with drugs. I think that I think any drug regulation is a complete waste of time, complete and utter pointlessness in exercise. Because what do you all you end up doing is just creating a black market. You know, when in New Brunswick, when they raised the price of cigarettes to like, I think it was like $25 a pack. You know what happened? Everybody just stopped going to the convenience store and buying cigarettes. They were buying, well, we called them the wagon burners, Indian smokes. So everybody was smoking the wagon burners, and we were buying them by the bags. They were coming into the provinces by the crate load. There were transport trucks that got caught bringing wagon burners into the fucking province. And that's when the government realized that we didn't gain anything. So boom, cigarettes went back down to $11. People started buying them at the convenience store again. Why? Because it was convenient. And then gas. This one was bad in New Brunswick. It was back in like the 90s. The gas prices went up so high and the wages remained the same. The gas and goes in the province of New Brunswick went up by 1,000%. It was nuts. Like, I mean, at that point in time, it's like I would walk into a gas station and I'd be paying for my gas and I'd be like, how many gas and goes this week? He said, I already had 2 today. And every gas station had a gas and go story. Every gas station. That's also when gas station cameras started getting really popular in New Brunswick. I think it took them, it was less than a year, and it just about every gas station had cameras after that. But then people got clever and they were like flipping like canvas down over their license plate. But then you learned real quick. At least I found out, and it was kind of hilarious. The RCMP were doing an investigation for like a home invasion that happened in a area near where I live, probably about 20 kilometers away. Anyways, or at least outside the town where I was living at that time. RCMP show up. And they started asking me questions like where I was last night, and and blah blah bullshit. And I'm just like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, you fellas need to back up 10 steps. I said, you walk up on me and you immediately start asking me where I have been in the last 24 hours. I was like, before I answer any of your questions, I said, I would really like an explanation in why you are asking these questions. And so they got a little pissy because I challenged their authority. But, the two of them talked for a second, and then one of them was like, then he told me what had happened, the incident. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, no problem. More than willing to help you out with a reasonable explanation. Okay. Yeah. No, I didn't go anywhere last night. My car got parked. I said, there's camera out on that street. I said, plus I got to drive by the convenience store that has a camera pointing out to the street. I said, there's a camera at the bank also pointing at the street. I said, there is no way out of this complex. I said, without me driving past a camera with my car. I said, absolutely no way. So I said, if you guys really wanted to do your job, you can go check those cameras. But I said, in the meantime, I said, maybe to help you out a little bit, I said, you can take a picture of my front tire treads. And they were like, oh, okay. I said, yeah. I said, I want to help out. I said, so one way I said I can help out, I says, I need to get you people to take me off your list so that you can move on to the next person, because perhaps that is the person you are looking for. And when I laid that all out for logic for these RCMP officers, they're just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, yes, it does. And then I was like, oh, by the way, why are you bothering me in my yard and my car? And they're like, oh, because it was a blue neon that was seen leaving the scene of the crime. So we're checking all blue neons in the area. I said, oh, for fuck's sakes. I said, why didn't you just say that to begin with? I said, it would have saved us a lot of fucking hassle. So, yeah.
Okay. Should we end on that note? It's let's see. Yeah, I've got 8:30 on my
I think we
clock.
should end on that little slice of entertainment.
Okay. All righty.
Yeah. Okay, well, this has been Krow.
And this has been Peter. And this has been P&K Q&A. Thank you for listening. Peace out.
Peace out.